When a man saw a beautiful woman drowning, he immediately jumped into the water to save her without hesitation. The beautiful woman was very grateful to him, and planned to repay him with her body. But just as the man was enjoying himself, his teammates also found their way to the riverbank, and discovered that these so-called beautiful women had a totally different appearance. It turns out this is a fantasy world of swords and magic, filled with all kinds of unimaginable and wonderful magic. There's a legendary dark magic that can create a baby with just a piece of wood, and a wizard who anchors his life to his beard. If his beard is cut off, he will die right away. On this magical continent, there's a fairy tale kingdom called Bellaro. Under the joint rule of King Ivan and the White Wizard, the whole kingdom thrived, filled with joy and harmony. Before long, Ivan had his first child, Maria. As the kingdom's eldest princess, Maria was already extraordinary. From a young age, she was born with superhuman strength. By the age of 2 or 3, she could bend big trees at will. A few years later, Ivan had another daughter, Sophia. The happy scene of the family filled the White Wizard with envy, so he used ancient dark magic to create an heir for himself. Although the child had a mouse tail, the White Wizard didn't care at all. He named the child Ali. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 years passed, and the children had all grown up. But the kingdom had a challenge like nothing they'd ever seen before. One night, a strange team suddenly arrived in the city. All its members were ice and snow creatures. Ivan and his men hurried to check. At this point, an old man holding an ice staff stepped out of the team. He called himself the Ice Wizard and said he had important matters to discuss with King Ivan. The White Wizard immediately asked Ali to greet the Ice Wizard with proper etiquette, but Ali accidentally knocked something to the ground. Everyone present laughed at him, and even the eagle on the Ice Wizard's staff let out bursts of laughter. This made Ali feel very sad, but the Ice Wizard didn't mind. With a serious expression, he told Ivan and the others that he had received a magical prophecy. Before long, the whole Bellaro will suffer an unprecedented disaster. At that time, almost everyone will die in agony. Upon hearing this news, King Ivan's brows furrowed instantly. Since the disaster 1,000 years ago, the whole kingdom had been immersed in peace and tranquility. People had almost forgotten how to fight, so there were no hero-level warriors in the kingdom. To help people escape the disaster, the two great wizards decided to cast a spell together, creating an artifact to help the kingdom get through the crisis. The White Wizard took action first. He slammed his wand into the ground, instantly creating a cave that penetrated deep into the earth. Then the Ice Wizard plucked a beard hair and turned it into an ice arrow. He transformed his ice staff into a divine bow and shot the arrow toward the sun. The ice arrow then turned around in midair and shot accurately into the deep pit on the ground. The next second, a beam of golden light shone into the pit. In the light, an illusory crown was slowly taking shape. This artifact was forged by the two wizards, using the power of the Earth Mother Goddess and the Sun God. Whoever wears it will instantly gain infinite magic power. At this point, Ali tried to reach out and touch it, but was quickly stopped by the Ice Wizard. The Ice Wizard told Ali that the golden sunbeam is the artifact's protective layer. Any creature that touches it will be completely purified and destroyed. King Ivan breathed a sigh of relief. Upon learning the artifact's power, the kingdom then returned to its usual bustle. Princess Sophia was passionate about studying witchcraft, but always accidentally got into trouble. During her magic experiments, she would accidentally knock over candles, almost setting the laboratory on fire. Luckily, she put out the fire in time to avoid a major disaster. The person in the mirror kept complaining about almost being burned to death, but Sophia didn't have time to say more. She remembered that her witchcraft class was about to start, and she would be late. Sophia hurried out of the room, but accidentally knocked over the dishes her sister had prepared, then fled in a hurry. Her sister Maria chased after her angrily. Unexpectedly, she was blocked by a frightened carriage. Taking this opportunity, Sophia quickly got rid of her sister. At this time, deep in the forest, a witch was teaching a class on magical potions. Sophia tried to sneak into her seat, but was detected by the witch's sharp sense of smell. The witch first criticized her for being late, then she punished Sophia by making her in charge of boiling water for the day. After the witch's series of actions, a bottle of potion called the love potion appeared in her hand. Just then, a soldier happened to pass by. The witch applied a little of the potion to her palm. She rubbed her palms while chanting an incantation, then she blew gently toward the soldier. The next second, the soldier was deeply attracted by the witch, and proposed to her as if no one else was around. The witch told Sophia and the others that the love potion's effect only lasted for 3 days. Then the witch began to check the homework she had assigned to Sophia and the others in the previous class. When asked how the invisibility potion was coming along, Sophia handed over the potion confidently. but as soon as the witch poured it on herself, she teleported to a nearby tree branch. Sophia couldn't help laughing at the witch's embarrassment. Afterward, the witch complained to the king. Ivan had to scold his daughter. Sophia was very sad and ran to the roof, refusing to talk to anyone. Luckily, her mother kept comforting her, and Sophia finally smiled again. At the same time, Maria's situation was also somewhat troublesome. She wanted to help others, but couldn't accurately control her growing divine power. She ended up making things worse. She sat alone by the lake, feeling deeply dejected. At this point, Ali, who had always had a crush on Maria, quietly approached her. He tried to comfort her, but only made things worse. Ali simply wrapped his tail around her wrist. Maria then saw many wonderful scenes. This was Ali's magic power. Anyone touched by his tail would instantly fall into an illusion. Watching the bizarre illusion, Maria felt much happier. Later, she went back to the town with Ali. They happened to meet the eagle warrior, whom Maria had a crush on. But the next second, he picked up a feeding trough and competed with pigs for food. Maria then realized this was actually an illusion created by Ali. She felt a little angry, but accidentally kicked over a bucket of water. This caused heavy losses to the fisherman selling goods nearby. The fisherman immediately said he would report this to Ivan. Maria hurried to apologize, but the fisherman refused to let it go. So Ali chanted an incantation. Then he placed a flower to the fisherman's mouth. The magic immediately sealed the fisherman's mouth. Although the fisherman could still speak, he couldn't mention anything about Maria, so he couldn't complain to Ivan. At the same time, the White Wizard and others went to the forest outside the town. They found an area that seemed to have been attacked by some kind of monster. It was completely destroyed, and all the animals had fled. He wondered if this was the danger foretold by the Ice Wizard, but King Ivan didn't worry at all. After all, the artifact would be fully formed soon. Besides, even though he hadn't fought in a long time, he still had the ability to do so, so the town's celebration wasn't cancelled that night. Everyone was still immersed in joy. They held an impromptu arm wrestling contest. The Eagle Warrior easily defeated all his opponents. Sophia, who was watching, immediately urged her sister Maria to go up and challenge him. After hesitating for a moment, Maria sat down at the table. As their hands clasped tightly, a strange feeling surged in Maria's heart. With this special emotion, the Eagle Warrior looked even more handsome and unrestrained. Just as Maria was indulged in his handsome face, the Eagle Warrior quickly tried his best, but still couldn't move Maria's wrist. The agonizing match didn't end until Maria accidentally crushed the table, due to being too excited. Although Maria won the match, she wasn't happy at all, because she heard everyone whispering about her behind her back. They called her a man in women's clothes. This made Maria very sad. At the same time, an unexpected incident happened in the town. Ali accidentally knocked over the Ice Wizard's staff. The Ice Wizard tried to kill Ali for it. Ali hurried to the White Wizard for help, but the Ice Wizard planned to kill both of them. He also threatened to seize the artifact and completely destroy Bellaro. The White Wizard hurried forward to stop him. At the last second, he used magic to throw the Ice Wizard out of the kingdom. Then the White Wizard added an even stronger magical protective shield to the artifact. Only the ancestral bloodline magic sword in the king's hand could open it. The White Wizard rushed to the celebration to inform the king of the sudden incident. But as soon as the White Wizard met Ivan, the Ice Wizard, who had woken up from his coma, started an attack on Bellaro. Countless ice and snow giants charged into Bellaro. King Ivan didn't panic. Although the artifact crown hadn't yet fully formed, he had long been ready to fight to the death. Ivan told Ali to fetch his ancestral bloodline magic sword. Then he rushed into the battlefield with the White Wizard. The queen refused to be outdone and fought on the front lines. The witch and the fisherman collaborated to hold back the ice giants' attacks barely. But as time passed, the battle continued to turn unfavorable. Maria, who had been hiding in a corner feeling sad, noticed the commotion in the city. She came to help repel the invaders. The situation stabilized slightly once more, but just then, the Ice Wizard outside the city cast magic again. Arrows made of ice kept freezing the city. Although Ivan shattered several of them, the Ice Wizard's arrows kept coming endlessly. If not stopped, the whole city would eventually become an ice cave. So the White Wizard exhausted all his strength. He formed a protective shield to safeguard Bellaro. Without the Ice Wizard's interference, the ice giants in the city, like water without a source, were quickly defeated by everyone, but a few giants still managed to rush to where the artifact was forming. At this time, the White Wizard was fully focused on maintaining the protective shield, and couldn't spare any effort to help. He had to let King Ivan go to stop them. Luckily, Ali delivered the magic sword just in time. Only then did Ivan manage to stop the enemies. His daughter Sophia planned to go help, but grabbed the wrong potion again. This caused the ice giant to grow even larger. To protect his daughter, Ivan was hit and sent flying by the giant. He accidentally crashed into the sunbeam guarding the artifact. The next second, he was purified and disintegrated. The ice giant raised its club again, preparing to kill Sophia as well. In the nick of time, the white wizard finally completed the protective shield. A powerful magical shockwave erupted, instantly destroying all the ice and snow giants. But the ice wizard refused to give up. He immediately summoned a massive dark cloud to hover over Bellaro day and night, constantly bombarding the protective shield with ice shards, trying to create a crack. The ice wizard waited outside for his chance. Luckily, Bellaro was temporarily safe, but the city had lost its king, who alone could split the shield and take the artifact out. Before long, the ice wizard would surely strike again. For a moment, despair filled everyone's hearts. At this point, the white wizard suddenly had an idea. He led everyone to an underground tunnel. This was the ancestral source of Bellaro. It was here that people had built the city. After receiving a sign from the ancestral source, the so-called ancestral source was actually an ice-shaped pool. It was now dry, and could only be awakened with a wizard's blood. The white wizard dripped his blood onto the ice-shaped pool. The next second, countless springs gushed out from underground. The white wizard hurried to ask how to get Ivan back, but the ancestral source informed him that the original Ivan had been dissolved by the sun's holy light, but there was another Ivan in a parallel world. This involved a little-known secret. Once, Ivan had traveled back 1,000 years to save Bellaro. This altered the timeline, creating a parallel world. The ancestral source then handed everyone a golden key that could open a time-space tunnel to the parallel world. Sophia blamed herself for her father's death, so she immediately snatched the key, opened the time-space tunnel without hesitation, and jumped into the parallel world. The others tried to chase her, but it was too late. The springs dried up again, turning back into arid ground. Everyone had no choice but to trust Sophia. Those who remained in Bellaro didn't sit idle. The witch and the others planned to go out to find reinforcements. The white wizard stayed in the city to guard against the ice wizard's possible attacks. Then the witch whistled. A small wooden house with chicken legs rushed out from the corner. This was her mount. The white wizard then opened a gap in the protective shield to let them sneak out of Bellaro. The chicken-legged wooden house raced along. Soon, it reached the edge of a cliff. This was the place the witch had been looking for. Staring at the deep valley, the eagle warrior's expression turned complicated. He seemed to recall something and strongly refused to go forward. The witch thought he was scared, and explained that this was an inverted mountain. Jumping down would be completely safe, but the eagle warrior still refused. In the end, he parted ways with the witch and the others. Maria and Ali, left standing there, didn't know what to do. The witch didn't say anything more. She simply cast a spell on the spot. A stretch of sky appeared below the cliff. She led Maria and the others into the wooden house, then jumped off the cliff. Finally, the chicken-legged wooden house landed steadily at the foot of the mountain. It was then that the witch revealed the target of her search, Nightingale. He was one of her ex-boyfriends. He could cast all kinds of magical spells through whistling. He even mastered the miracle of pausing time. The witch told everyone to be very careful. Then, under her leadership, they spotted a strange-looking uncle. He put his fingernail to his mouth and blew gently. A blue energy blade shot out. Instantly, it even cut through stone effortlessly. The witch told Maria and the others that Nightingale's fingernails were not only indestructible, but also could regenerate endlessly. Then, wings suddenly sprouted from Nightingale's back, and he flew down from the tree. This made Ali even more worried. The opponent not only had powerful magic but could also fly. It was almost impossible to catch Nightingale. As they were figuring out what to do, Nightingale blew another fingernail. Whistle. The trees he had just destroyed instantly restored themselves. Then he picked up a snake from the ground. He blew fire from another whistle, turning the snake into delicious roasted meat. In the blink of an eye, after thinking for a moment, the witch decided to walk straight up to him. Even though they hadn't seen each other for hundreds of years, Nightingale still recognized her. He blew his whistle right away. The next second, the witch couldn't help but start dancing. Maria and Ali, hiding in the corner, were also affected by the whistle and started dancing. After an energetic dance, Nightingale invited the witch to sit down. The witch took the opportunity to mix sleeping powder into Nightingale's tea. When Nightingale came back, he drank the tea without hesitation. Then Nightingale handed an apple to the witch. She also took a bite without hesitation. Then the witch transformed back into her younger self. This magical scene shocked even Maria, who was hiding in the dark. She accidentally stepped on Ali's tail. The noise they made attracted Nightingale's attention. But just then, the sleeping powder took effect. Nightingale fainted on the spot. Maria immediately stepped out of her hiding place, ready to tie Nightingale up. Unexpectedly, the witch suddenly fainted too. Nightingale, on the other hand, stood up again. It turned out he had noticed the sleeping powder in the water a long time ago, so he had secretly swapped their cups. Maria prepared to grab Nightingale by force, but Nightingale just blew his whistle, and time came to a complete stop. Nightingale whistled as he walked up to Maria, and changed the direction of her attack. Then he lifted the time pause. Maria was knocked down by her own attack. Ali, hiding in the dark, could only watch helplessly as Maria and the others were about to be turned into roasted meat by Nightingale. At the moment when everyone's lives hung in the balance, the Eagle Warrior appeared. The two immediately started a fierce battle. The Eagle Warrior seemed to know Nightingale very well. He then easily chopped off all of Nightingale's indestructible fingernails. Without his whistles, Nightingale's strength was greatly reduced. But he had another secret weapon, an invisible battle axe forged from shapeless iron. As the two remained deadlocked, the witch called out to the wooden house and Ali for help. The wooden house just managed to block Nightingale's attack. Watching the situation turn completely unfavorable, Nightingale spread his wings to escape right away. Only then did he realize his feet had been tied up by an invisible iron chain at some point. It was clearly the Eagle Warrior's doing. Nightingale fell to the ground. Just as the Eagle Warrior was about to kill him, Nightingale begged for mercy, citing their father-son bond. It turned out that Nightingale was actually the Eagle Warrior's father. But, because of his mother's death, the Eagle Warrior hated his father deeply and had left him. He had refused to go to the inverted mountain earlier, because he didn't want to see Nightingale again. To cut off all ties with him completely, the Eagle Warrior had even cut off his own wings, with his own hands. Maria sighed with emotion upon learning the truth. Persuaded by his companions, the Eagle Warrior didn't kill Nightingale on the spot. Later, they tied him up tightly, leaving him to fend for himself. Then everyone went to find a place to stay for the night. On the way, the Eagle Warrior seemed to remember something. He secretly returned to the camp, under the excuse of looking for his helmet. When Nightingale woke up from his coma, he found the ropes on his body had been cut. It was clear that the Eagle Warrior had finally couldn't bear to let his scoundrel father die in the wilderness. At the same time, in Bellaro, the Queen was actively mobilizing the residents to prepare for the Ice Wizard's upcoming attack. Just then, a huge ice shard forced its way through the protective shield, and barely missed the Queen. The Ice Wizard outside sensed a gap in the shield, and quickly cast a spell to create a small ice crystal snake. He then ordered the Ice Eagle to drop it into the protective shield. On the other side, the White Wizard also sensed the shield was damaged, and hurried to repair it. But he was too late. The Ice Crystal Snake had already sneaked in. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they saw the shield repaired. But the real danger had just begun. The Ice Crystal Snake quietly followed the Queen, then quickly crawled into her ear when she wasn't looking. The next second, a layer of ice frosted over the Queen's eyes. She was completely controlled by the Ice Wizard, becoming his puppet. The Ice Wizard immediately ordered the Queen to assassinate the White Wizard. At this time, the White Wizard was still reinforcing the artifact's protective shield. He didn't notice at all that the Queen was quietly approaching from behind with a sword. It wasn't until she accidentally made a noise that the White Wizard realized something was wrong. Seeing the plan exposed, the Ice Wizard immediately controlled the Queen to start a fierce attack on the White Wizard. The White Wizard wasn't good at close combat, and was soon knocked to the ground by the Queen. Luckily, the White Wizard reacted quickly, and used magic to block the fatal blow in time. He then threw the Queen away. The White Wizard didn't seem to realize the Queen was controlled by the Ice Wizard. He even wanted to behead her to make an example. The fisherman beside him thought the White Wizard was crazy. After all, this was the Queen. But the White Wizard didn't care, and raised his axe to execute her. The Ice Wizard hurriedly controlled the Ice Crystal Snake to escape. Unexpectedly, this played right into the White Wizard's hands. With one precise swing, he hit the Ice Crystal Snake. It turned out that everything just now was a performance by the White Wizard. The Queen broke free from the control and woke up again. The Ice Wizard realized he had been tricked and flew into a rage. He remotely controlled the shattered ice crystals of the snake, turning them into a sharp blade that rushed toward the White Wizard. Although the White Wizard dodged quickly, the ice blade cut the rope nearby. A huge boulder came crashing down on him. He only had time to hastily push the Queen away. He himself was severely injured by the boulder and lay dying. On the other side, the Eagle Warrior and the others, who had obtained the whistles, planned to sneak attack the Ice Wizard's lair. Before long, they met with the Ice Wizard and his men. They decided to start a pincer attack on the Ice Wizard and his group. Maria and Ali, carrying the time-pausing whistle, quietly sneaked around to the Ice Wizard's back. But just then, Ali was suddenly attacked by an Ice Eagle. Maria quickly drew her bow and arrow, ready to shoot the Ice Eagle, but she accidentally hit Ali dead on. The Ice Eagle then dropped Ali's body from a great height, and disappeared without a trace. The death of their companion cast a shadow over everyone's hearts. The Eagle Warrior planned to go to the lake to calm down, but he suddenly heard a woman's cry for help not far away. Then the scene from the beginning of the story unfolded. But in the Eagle Warrior's eyes, it looked like Maria was beating up those beautiful women. He hurried to stop her. Maria was distracted by the Eagle Warrior, and accidentally got bitten by a leech. Before long, the witch arrived. Upon hearing the commotion, she recognized these leeches as a type of special monster. They appeared as beautiful women to men, then attracted them and drained them dry. Completely, only women could see their true forms. The witch immediately took out a bottle of potion. She threatened the leeches that if they didn't leave right away, she would cast a spell on the water, turning them all into foam and killing them. The 8 leeches pretended to retreat, but while the witch wasn't looking, they quickly trapped her and Maria with water plants. Just as the two were about to become the leeches' meal, an unexpected reinforcement arrived just in time. Maria and the others didn't understand why the ice wizard had saved them. He told them he wasn't a traitor, but had been framed. The real mastermind was hiding in the city, but the ice wizard was under a spell, and couldn't reveal who the mastermind was. Just then, the eagle warrior woke up from his coma. He hadn't seen what had happened earlier. Seeing the enemy had found them, he immediately drew his weapon, and swung at the ice wizard with all his strength. The unprepared ice wizard had his beard, his source of life, cut off on the spot. The next second, he disintegrated into pieces of snowflakes. At the same time, in Bellaro, the queen tried her best to save the white wizard, but with little effect. The fisherman suggested she go to the ancestral source to find a way to save him. The queen dripped her blood into the dry ice-shaped pool, but she wasn't a wizard, so the ancestral source didn't respond at all. She felt very anxious. Unexpectedly, her tears fell on the dry ground, and successfully awakened the ancestral source. After some questioning, the spring water handed a candle to the queen. The ancestral source said the white wizard's life force was almost extinguished. Only this candle could replace it and allow him to recover gradually. The queen went back to her residence and lit the candle. The white wizard, who had been barely breathing, suddenly began to breathe more steadily. The queen excitedly placed the candle on the table, but unexpectedly, the candle went out. The white wizard became dying again. The queen had to relight it, but as soon as she let go, the candle would go out again, so she had to hold the candle in her hands the whole time. But as the candle kept burning, the queen's hands began to become transparent and ethereal. Her face also seemed to be melting. It turned out that saving the white wizard required a life-for-life sacrifice. Faced with such a cruel choice, the queen thought of the people in the city. In the end, she decided to sacrifice herself. As the queen completely faded into transparency, the white wizard finally woke up from his coma. At this very point, the long unmaintained protective shield shattered completely. Luckily, the ice wizard was already dead, and the dark clouds dispersed as a result. When the eagle warrior and the others were on their way back to Bellaro, they suddenly found an unfamiliar guide stone on the road. 3 curses were inscribed on it. The 3 of them thought it was just a trick to confuse enemies, so they didn't pay it any mind. They crossed the guide stone and continued forward. After walking for an unknown amount of time, they got into a forest. The chicken-legged wooden house suddenly issued a warning. It seemed that something terrifying was approaching. The next second, the ground began to shake violently. A sandstorm swept over them, covering the sky and earth. By then, it was too late for them to turn back and run. Everyone was swallowed up by the sandstorm. During this time, they felt as if thousands of troops were trampling over them. When they regained consciousness, Maria had disappeared without a trace. They searched repeatedly but kept going back to the guide stone. The eagle warrior refused to believe it and rushed forward again, but soon found himself back at the guide stone once more, so he changed direction and headed to the left of the guide stone. The witch, whose chicken-legged wooden house had been terrified by the earlier scene, had to stay behind to guard it. The eagle warrior walked farther and farther. When he passed a stream, he was instantly shocked by his reflection. He had unexpectedly turned into an old man. If he kept going, he would surely die of old age completely. He patted the water unwillingly. Suddenly, the eagle warrior picked up a stone. At this point, he seemed to realize something. He hurried back to the guide stone along the same path. He asked the witch to help him load the guide stone onto the wooden house. To their surprise, they pulled the guide stone along as they traveled to Bellaro, because as long as they followed behind the guide stone, they wouldn't be affected by its curses. After a long and arduous journey, the eagle warrior and the others finally arrived outside Bellaro's city gates. But just then, they saw that the sun's holy light in the distance had suddenly gone out. It turned out that since waking up, the white wizard had been hastening to complete the artifact. Just a moment ago, he had finally finished forging it completely, but he couldn't retrieve it for the time being, because of the protective shield around it. On the other side, when Maria woke up again, she found herself on a vast grassland. Horses were everywhere around her. Not far away, a gypsy named Logan was lying on a haystack playing the guitar. When he saw Maria waking up from her coma, Logan immediately approached her. He said he hoped to marry Maria. He claimed this was her only way to survive here. Naturally, Maria didn't want to deal with this madman. and was about to turn around and leave, but suddenly, a rope flew out and bound her tightly. Logan then forced Maria to put on a pair of boots with exquisite patterns. Only then did the rope let her go. Maria still tried to leave, but found the shoes seemed glued to the ground. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't move an inch. It was clearly a pair of magic boots. Maria tried to take them off, but with no success. Logan proudly said he would hold the wedding for Maria tomorrow. Upon hearing this, Maria became even more anxious. Her teammates were still waiting for her to come back. Just then, she suddenly noticed someone identical to Logan walking slowly behind him. It was Logan's twin brother, who would also become Maria's husband later. Maria tried to tell them she already had someone she liked. She begged them to let her go. The elder brother gave her a chance. He told an ancient story. According to legend, their people had lived with horses since ancient times, but one day, their father was wrongfully accused of stealing a wizard's horse. As a result, the whole family was cursed. Although they look like normal people now, they would turn into wild horses every night. Logan told Maria if she could lift the curse for them, they would agree to let her go. Maria agreed without hesitation. Later, they told her the magic could only be lifted by taming them. When they turned into horses, at night, Maria soon spotted a horse with golden teeth among the herd. She immediately rushed over and tied it up. Then she jumped on its back and tamed it by force. But just then, she saw the two brothers laughing beside her. It turned out to be just a prank. The two brothers hadn't been cursed at all, but before they could finish speaking, a hurricane suddenly erupted from the ground. The next second, the wild horse under Maria transformed into a woman. The two brothers immediately recognized her as their mother. It turned out the curse wasn't totally a meaningless joke. To thank Maria, the brothers' mother decided to let her go. Before Maria left, she gave her a horse for transportation, but the two brothers recognized that the horse was their grandfather. On the other side, Sophia, who had traveled through the time-space tunnel to another universe, never expected the portal to be inside a fish tank in a supermarket. She struggled to climb out of it. Then, because the floor was slippery with water, she accidentally knocked over a jar of pickles nearby. Security guards rushed over to check right away. At this point, Sophia happened to see the Ivan of this world. She was about to step forward to recognize him when the security guard stopped her, demanding compensation for the damage. Watching Ivan about to leave, Sophia acted in desperation, pulling out the blink potion she had made from her pocket, and teleporting the guards away. Taking this chance, she hurried to chase after Ivan. She followed him all the way to the underground parking lot, searching for a long time but never spotting him. Worse still, the security guard returned with other staff members. Sophia quickly found a place to hide. Unexpectedly, someone drove away the car covering her, exposing her on the spot. Sophia had to run for her life. To her surprise, she happened to see Ivan opening a time-space tunnel. Ready to leave, she hurried to him to identify herself. But this world's Ivan wasn't married at all. A girl suddenly popping up and calling him dad was something he couldn't wrap his head around. This momentary delay caused the things Ivan had bought to fall into the time-space tunnel. He was about to ask Sophia for compensation. When he saw her being arrested by the security guards, Sophia rummaged through her bag for a potion and knocked out the nearby security guards. Then she ran as fast as she could to escape the supermarket, but the security guards kept chasing her relentlessly. When passing through a studio full of plaster statues, Sophia accidentally tripped and fell. This delayed her escape, so she had a sudden idea and pulled out another potion from her pocket. The next second, Sophia turned into a plaster statue. Soon after, the security guards caught up. They stood in front of the statue that was Sophia, not leaving for a long time. It was then that Sophia realized only her upper body had turned into plaster. Her lower body was still human legs. She hurried to escape the studio, because her upper body was still in plaster form. Running was very awkward, but luckily, she finally managed to shake off the security guards. Sophia was just about to breathe a sigh of relief when the person in her mirror told her that the golden key to open the time-space tunnel had been lost. When she fell, Sophia hurried back to the studio to look for it, but she couldn't find it no matter how hard she tried. The person in the mirror suggested Sophia go find the boy who had been painting there earlier. Maybe he would know where the key was. Sophia hurried to find the boy. As expected, he had seen the key, but had already handed it over to the principal. Upon hearing this, Sophia became even more anxious. She hoped the boy would help her get the key back, but he said he had other things to do, and left without looking back. Helpless, Sophia had to open her bag again, and take out the love potion. Charlie, the boy who had been uninterested before, was instantly deeply attracted by Sophia. With Charlie's help, Sophia soon met the principal. He was giving a speech on stage at this point. It seemed the school was holding some kind of celebration. She finally waited for the speech to end. Before Sophia could ask about the key, she saw the security guards chasing her again. She immediately tried to escape through the back door, only to find it locked. Desperate, Sophia rushed onto the stage. Luckily, a classical folk dance was being performed at this point. Her outfit didn't stand out too much. She seamlessly blended in with the dancers. just as Sophia thought she had gotten away with it. The dance music suddenly changed to aerobics. Sophia was instantly spotted by the security guards. If the principal hadn't stopped them from below, they would have rushed onto the stage to take her back for compensation. The dance soon came to an end. Sophia stood on stage, feeling very embarrassed. Suddenly, she had an idea and used a potion to create countless pink butterflies. The scene stunned everyone present. Taking advantage of everyone's distraction by the butterflies, Sophia quickly escaped. She had planned to find another chance to talk to the principal after the performance, but he had already left work early to go home. Sophia had to come back the next day. On the other side, Ivan couldn't shake the strange sense of familiarity with the girl who had approached him. He then took out his phone to check the prophecy the witch had left earlier. Suddenly, he realized something and immediately opened the time-space tunnel again, ready to go back to Bellaro. He wanted to find out what had happened, but due to some accident, the teleportation destination shifted. Although the location was still Bellaro, there were no residents around, and everything was in black and white. Suddenly, Ivan heard a noise coming from somewhere. Following the sound, he found a well. Inside the well, he saw the scene of the White Wizard and others, awakening the ancestral source earlier. Through their conversation, Ivan finally learned about the situation in Bellaro. He immediately went back to his original world. He then found the security guards who had arrested Sophia, and compensated them for the damage. Learning that Sophia had been at the school, Ivan hurried there to find her. At this point, following Charlie's suggestion, Sophia had changed into modern clothes. This way, she wouldn't stand out so much. They found the principal and asked about the key, but he insisted that he could only give it back if their parents were present. Helpless, Sophia had to use a potion to turn Charlie into an old man. Just as they were about to get away with the ruse, Ivan suddenly burst into the office and claimed to be Sophia's father. The principal had just heard that Sophia's father was dead. He immediately demanded that the three of them show identification. Seeing the situation turn bad, Charlie pretended to have a heart attack. He asked the principal to call an ambulance. After the principal left, the three quickly searched the office. They even managed to open the safe, but still couldn't find the key. Just then, the principal went back, accompanied by two mysterious men. The men tried to arrest them on the charge of illegal world travel. Naturally, the three of them refused to give up without a fight. Sophia hit the bald man with a flower pot and led the other two to escape the office quickly. On the way, she used a potion to destroy the stairs, preventing their pursuers from following. They barely managed to escape, but none of them felt happy. Without the travel key, they couldn't go back to Bellaro at all. The people there were still waiting for Ivan to save them. Just then, Charlie rushed over with his phone in hand. They learned that the principal had long since sold the travel key to a museum as an artifact to take the key back. The three disguised themselves as cultural relic experts again. They found the museum curator and asked to see the key. Under the excuse of researching its ancient culture, the curator handed it over without hesitation. But when Sophia tried to activate the key to open the time-space tunnel as planned, she found that the key had turned into sand. Then the two mysterious men they had escaped earlier suddenly burst through the door. With the curator's help, the three were arrested on the spot. Only then did they realize the curator was in cahoots with the two mysterious men. They were then thrown into a cell. The curator used magic to seal the cell door, preventing them from escaping. But they didn't fall into despair. Instead, they kept thinking of ways to escape. But the prisoner in the next cell told them not to waste their efforts. He told Ivan and the others that they would all be sealed in oil paintings. Without the specific magic incantation, they wouldn't be able to move at all. As soon as he finished speaking, the curator arrived at the next cell with an enlarged painting frame. As she chanted the incantation, the prisoner was sucked into the frame. The curator then hung the painting in the museum for exhibition. No one would ever guess that a real human was inside. After seeing this, despair surged in Ivan and the others' hearts. But Charlie saw this as an opportunity. He had recognized the curator's incantation as the legendary Elvish language, and he happened to know how to speak it. Charlie then imitated the curator and chanted the incantation. To their surprise, the cell door opened. The three quickly escaped. Charlie recalled seeing a key in a painting in the curator's office earlier. It looked exactly like the travel key. He suspected that was the key they were looking for. So the three rushed to the curator's office, and on the way, they rescued the old man who had just been sealed. Unexpectedly, they were spotted by a museum guard. The curator rushed over upon hearing the commotion and chanted the incantation again. The next second, the guard transformed into a giant woolly spider. Charlie immediately used Elvish to release all the prisoners sealed in the paintings. The small exhibition hall was instantly packed with people. Charlie and the other two planned to escape in the chaos, but Sophia was unluckily caught by one of the spiders. Charlie, still under the influence of the love potion, immediately rushed to rescue her with Ivan, but they were both thrown away by the spider. Charlie's jaw was temporarily dislocated, leaving him unable to speak. The three finally managed to escape the exhibition hall. They rushed into the curator's office and grabbed the painting, but since Charlie couldn't speak, they had to flee the museum with the painting first. Thanks to the chaos created by the escaped prisoners, the three escaped unscathed. At this point, Sophia used her unskilled bone-setting skills, combined with the effect of a potion. She barely managed to reset Charlie's jaw. As Charlie chanted the incantation, they finally obtained the travel key from the painting. Sophia was overjoyed and ready to go back to Bellaro, but after trying repeatedly, the travel key showed no response. It was then that they noticed a gemstone was missing from the key. Sophia asked the person in the mirror if they knew where to repair the key, perhaps because the mirror was too small and lacked sufficient magic power. The person in the mirror couldn't provide any answer. Charlie immediately took out his phone and asked AI Athena. To their surprise, they actually got a response. The three then went to a dilapidated small shop. The repairman briefly inspected the key and quickly closed the door. He said such real magical artifacts shouldn't be seen by ordinary people. The repairman took out a compressed file from the shelf, which contained a lot of jewelry information. Soon, the repairman found information about the missing gemstone. Just as they were about to breathe a sigh of relief, they were told the gemstone was a specialty ore from Bellaro. To repair the key, they had to go back to Bellaro first. Everyone was left speechless. Things seemed to have fallen into a dead end. Just then, the repairman suddenly told them they could buy the material online. Sophia had never imagined such a thing could be purchased online. She immediately asked the repairman to place the order for them. When they heard the delivery would take 3 days, Ivan used his financial power on the spot. The repairman's eyes lit up instantly. After some quick maneuvering on his part, a courier delivered the package the next second, but when they opened the box, they were all shocked by what was inside. Although the gemstone looked identical, it was hundreds of times larger. The repairman shrugged helplessly. After all, it was hard to tell the size clearly when shopping online. He also claimed he had delivered the item and wasn't responsible for anything else. With that, he drove Ivan and the others out of the shop. Staring at the huge gemstone, Sophia suddenly had an idea. She could use a potion to shrink it. The three immediately went to a nearby public restroom to prepare the necessary materials. Unexpectedly, Charlie accidentally turned on the hand dryer. It blew away all the most important materials on the spot. Sophia was instantly dumbfounded. It was a special powder made from trees unique to Bellaro, processed through multiple complex steps. Realizing he had messed up, Charlie immediately asked the phone's AI for a solution. To his surprise, the AI told him to wait where he was. The next second, a food delivery guy brought a delivery box to them. Before Charlie could figure out what was happening, all three of them were sucked into the box. When they woke up again, they found themselves in a room filled with mirrors. The mirror in the center also had a mirror person inside. It turned out the so-called AI was actually a magic mirror, connected to everyone's phone. As a fellow mirror person, Athena sneered at Sophia's small magic mirror. She said she could help them find the potion powder, but Sophia had to leave her small mirror behind. Sophia couldn't bear to part with the mirror person, who had accompanied her for so long. But then Ivan said he had a plan. After a moment, Ivan agreed to Athena's request, placed the mirror frame on the table, grabbed the potion powder, and was about to leave. But he was stopped by Athena. Before he could walk out the door, she had seen through Ivan's trick a long time ago. Now Athena wanted to keep not only the small magic mirror, but also the three of them here. As she spoke, Athena opened a mirror portal, and led the museum curator and others here. In the nick of time, Ivan took out his phone, and asked AI Athena how to deal with the situation. Bound by her programming, Athena couldn't hide the answer. Armed with the solution, the three immediately placed another mirror in front of the portal. Under the continuous reflection of the two mirrors, the curator and the others were completely trapped in the portal. Then Sophia calmly used the potion powder to cast magic. She shrank the huge gemstone to the required size. After countless hardships, Sophia was finally able to go home. She reluctantly said goodbye to Charlie. Then she and Ivan stepped into the time-space tunnel. Watching Sophia's departing figure, Charlie's heart was also filled with reluctance. He didn't know if it was the effect of the love potion, or if he had truly fallen in love with her. Just then, Charlie noticed that Sophia had left her small magic mirror behind. At this point, he made a firm decision, and followed her into the time-space tunnel. Shortly after Charlie left, two men dressed in strange clothes suddenly emerged from the tunnel, and accidentally knocked the mirror askew. The curator, and others trapped in the mirror portal, were finally able to escape. But she didn't thank the two men. Instead, she immediately arrested and detained the poor guys, on the charge of unauthorized world travel. A few minutes earlier, Ivan and Sophia emerged from the time-space tunnel, and happened to encounter two guards. The guards had never seen anyone dressed so strangely. They immediately tried to Arrest Sophia as a spy. No matter how Ivan and Sophia explained, the guards refused to believe them. Just then, Charlie also walked out of the tunnel. The two guards became even more convinced that the group was here to sneak attack Bellaro. They started an attack right away. In the chaos, the two guards accidentally fell into the tunnel, leading to the earlier scene. Having escaped the guards, Sophia looked at the somewhat desolate Bellaro, and immediately sensed something was wrong. She took Ivan and Charlie to find her mother, to ask what had happened. Unexpectedly, they ran into the Eagle Warrior and the others, who had just come back. The group attacked without hesitation. Luckily, they recognized their faces in time. No irreversible damage was done. Maria told her sister that Bellaro was in a very strange state, and it was likely related to the White Wizard. They had just noticed that all the patrol guards in Bellaro had been replaced with strangers. They had also accidentally seen the White Wizard seemingly absorbing their mother's soul. Combined with what the Ice Wizard had said earlier, she suspected the White Wizard was the real mastermind behind everything. It was at this point that they saw Sophia and the other two approaching suspiciously. Maria mistook them for the White Wizard's minions. That's why she attacked them. Sophia was stunned on the spot. She couldn't believe that the White Wizard was the mastermind. Later, Sophia and the other two were taken back to the witch's wooden house. They discussed how to deal with the White Wizard together. They believed there was still a chance to win. The White Wizard couldn't open the artifact's protective shield. All they needed to do was find a chance for Ivan to use the magic sword to open the shield and seize the artifact crown. Then they could turn the tide of the battle. But Sophia still couldn't believe the White Wizard was the mastermind. Instead, she thought her sister and the others had been deceived by the Ice Wizard, so she refused to go along with their plan. The next day, Sophia and the other two secretly set out to find the White Wizard. Maria and the others soon noticed they were gone and searched everywhere for them. When they learned that the three were going to find the White Wizard, the witch immediately took out several bottles of potions. The Eagle Warrior threw one of the bottles at Sophia and the other two. It hit Ivan dead on. The next second, he turned into an idiot. Sophia recognized it as the witch's confusion potion. The confused Ivan cheered loudly and ran wild on the streets of Bellaro. He quickly attracted the attention of many guards. Maria and the others were all stopped by the guards. At this time, Sophia and the other two had already taken Ivan to find the White Wizard, and under his leadership, they arrived at the cave where the artifact was kept. After repelling the guards, Maria and the others also rushed to the cave quickly. Seeing the confused Ivan about to slash open the protective shield with the magic sword, Maria and the others finally arrived. At this very point, Ivan finally broke free from the potion's effect. He regained his sanity, but he still chose to trust the White Wizard. The witch immediately threw a bottle of potion, but strangely, the potion suddenly swerved. The White Wizard, realizing what was happening, knocked the witch flying on the spot. At the same time, Ivan split open the protective shield. The artifact crown finally appeared. Unexpectedly, the White Wizard suddenly grabbed the artifact and put it on his head. Then the surrounding area was engulfed in flying sand and rocks, and the weather changed drastically. A thick black smoke surrounded the White Wizard. When he reappeared, he had become the Black-Robed Wizard. The artifact gave him unparalleled power. As soon as the Eagle Warrior tried to approach, he was knocked flying out of the cave. The others, seeing that the situation was bad, immediately turned around and fled. But as soon as they left the cave, they were surrounded by countless pillars of fire. The White Wizard appeared in front of them, wrapped in a cloud of thick smoke. He said he had long been tired of sharing power with a fool like Ivan. Maria immediately shot an arrow, but the White Wizard dodged it easily. The arrow hit the boy Charlie dead on. Sophia rushed forward to give first aid. Ivan didn't stand idle either. He tried to persuade the White Wizard to spare everyone, but this only made him more angry. The White Wizard grabbed Maria by the neck, wanting Ivan to watch his daughter die a terrible death. Sophia immediately threw a handful of magic powder. As she chanted the incantation, the thick smoke around the White Wizard quickly turned to stone. He also turned into a statue in horror. At this point, the Eagle Warrior, who had been knocked flying, came back in time to deliver the final blow. His previously severed wings had somehow grown back. He rushed to the White Wizard's statue and chopped off its head with one swing. With the White Wizard's death, everything seemed to return to normal. The Queen, who had faded away into transparency, was resurrected. Sophia and Maria were reunited with their mother. Before long, Bellaro regained its former bustle and liveliness. The streets were filled with warmth and joy. But was everything really over? For some reason, Sophia couldn't shake the faint feeling that something was wrong. Then she suddenly remembered that she was originally allergic to pollen, but now she didn't even sneeze. This was clearly abnormal. Sophia realized she was most likely trapped in an illusion, and that was exactly the case. In the real world, all the residents of Bellaro were trapped in a massive illusion. They lay scattered on the streets. The only one who could move normally was Ali, who had long been dead, and he was wearing the artifact crown on his head. What on earth was happening? In the illusionary world, Sophia only had vague suspicions but no solid evidence, until one day, she suddenly saw Bellaro welcoming a hero. People lined the streets to greet him, but when Sophia saw the hero's face, she froze in place. For the so-called hero was none other than Ali, and his mouse tail was gone. Besides, the wound Maria had gotten from the leech, while saving the eagle warrior, had also disappeared. She didn't even feel any pain or leave a scar when touching a red-hot iron rod. At this point, Sophia finally confirmed that everything in front of her was just an illusion. Perhaps because she had seen through the truth of the world, Sophia and Maria broke free from the illusion. Looking at the people lying on the ground around them, and Ali not far away, the two immediately demanded to know what was happening. Ali smiled coldly and then told a long story. Ali had been created by magic, and was born with various flaws. He not only had a mouse tail but also a hunchback. His appearance was also ordinary. This made him bullied constantly since childhood. Only Maria treated Ali like a human being, so he gradually developed feelings for Maria that went beyond friendship. But Ali knew that with his status and abilities, he wasn't worthy of Maria, a princess. This made Ali very sad, until recently, when he saw the artifact crown created by the White Wizard, he suddenly had the idea of seizing it. At this very point, the Ice Wizard discovered that the creation of the artifact crown had destroyed the forest near Bellaro, so he decided to destroy the crown. Ali would never let that happen. He deliberately smashed the Ice Wizard's staff to stop him, but he was discovered by the Ice Wizard again. Ali had to use magic to prevent the Ice Wizard from revealing anything about him. Unexpectedly, the Ice Wizard repaired his staff in an instant, and tried to kill Ali. Luckily, he dodged in time and escaped death. Watching the Ice Wizard head to the cave, where the crown was hidden, Ali was filled with extreme anxiety. Just then, he saw his teacher, the White Wizard. An idea immediately popped into Ali's mind. He deliberately bumped into the White Wizard, and then dragged him into an illusion. He created the illusion that the Ice Wizard was trying to seize the artifact. The White Wizard fell for the trick, and immediately chased out of the cave, knocking the Ice Wizard flying. But something unexpected happened. His teacher had added an extra protective shield around the artifact. Only the king, using the ancestral bloodline magic sword, could open it, so Ali had to continue hiding and biding his time. Upon hearing this, Sophia angrily raised her dagger. She was about to hack Ali to pieces on the spot, but her sister Maria stopped her in time. She still had many questions that needed answers from Ali, especially about how he had come back from the dead, but Sophia couldn't wait any longer. She raised her axe again to kill Ali. Unexpectedly, Ali manipulated the illusion, making the eagle warrior suddenly appear behind Sophia. He then tied her up like a lamb, after ensuring Sophia wouldn't cause any more trouble. Ali continued his story. He had never expected that King Ivan would be dissolved by the sun's holy light. To protect Sophia, he had even thought all hope was lost. That was until later, when he followed the group and got nightingales' whistles. Ali then came up with a new plan. He had used his tail to throw a stone into the distance, successfully attracting Maria's attention. Then he quickly dragged her into an illusion, making Maria believe she had been shot to death. Later, he followed the group and saw Maria preparing to peek into the queen's room, so he quickly placed his tail on her hand, creating the illusion that the White Wizard was murdering the queen. This made her stop trusting the White Wizard. On the cave battlefield, Ali used time stop to temporarily change the direction of the witch's potion, completely turning the tide of the battle. When Ivan split open the protective shield, Ali immediately activated time stop, and put the artifact crown on his head. In an instant, Ali felt his powers reach an unprecedented level. Now, as long as he placed his tail on the ground, everyone in Bellaro would be trapped in an illusion. It was through this method that he had manipulated their final battle. According to Ali's plan, everyone would live a happy life in the illusion, just as Ali was proudly showing off. But Sophia suddenly broke free from her bonds, picked up the iron spear on the ground, and stabbed Ali in the abdomen. The next second, Ali's figure vanished and transformed into the boy Charlie. Then the surrounding scenery twisted and changed rapidly. It turned out that Maria and Sophia had thought they had woken up, but they were still trapped in the illusion. Sophia was no match for Ali at all, and was immediately controlled by him. She was also taken to the real world and imprisoned, preventing her from causing trouble in the illusion. In the illusion, Ali vented all the grievances he had suffered in the past. He arbitrarily mocked and tormented those who had looked down on him. Just then, he suddenly heard a noise coming from the real world. Ali hurried back to check. To his surprise, it was Sophia begging for mercy. She claimed she was willing to obey Ali, and even help him pursue her sister Maria. Ali had long had a crush on Maria. Naturally, he was overjoyed to hear this, and immediately agreed to Sophia's request. He sent her back to the illusion world once again. In fact, Sophia had no intention of surrendering. This was a plan she had discussed with the person in her mirror for a long time. She planned to tell Ivan and the others the truth in the illusion world, but Ali wasn't foolish either, and didn't trust Sophia right away, so he immediately used magic to prevent her from speaking anything related to him. Later, Sophia found her sister and gestured frantically to make her understand, but to her surprise, Maria had long known that the previous world was an illusion. Her arm wound had disappeared back. Then, which was why she had kept stopping Sophia, she had also pretended to trust Ali to gain his confidence. Now that they were reunited, they discussed a rebellion plan together. But just as they went back to their residence to tell Ivan, they saw that Ali had actually come to visit. It was clear that he still didn't trust Sophia. Maria had a sudden idea and pretended that she had fallen in love with Ali. She then led him out of the room. Through sweet words, she convinced Ali that she wouldn't betray him. Only then did he agree to take Maria to the real world. Seeing the leech wound on her arm, Maria was certain that she had finally woken up. She had planned to kill Ali when he was not looking, but she learned that if Ali died, everyone would be trapped in the illusion forever. Later, Maria heard bursts of screams. Following the sound, she found the imprisoned white wizard. It turned out that because the white wizard had no desires, Ali's illusion couldn't trap him. He could only be locked up here. Maria asked him how to defeat Ali and save everyone. The white wizard said that to defeat Ali, they must first destroy the artifact crown, and only the bloodline magic sword could destroy it. But now Ivan was trapped in the illusion, and couldn't use the magic sword at all. Just as Maria was at a loss for what to do, the white wizard suddenly remembered that he had used a branch from his magic wand as a material when creating Ali, so as long as he held his own magic wand, he could be immune to Ali's illusions. It was precisely because his wand had been knocked away that he had fallen into Ali's illusion back then. At the same time, in the illusion world, Sophia took advantage of Ali being distracted by her sister, and hastily gestured to tell Ivan and the boy Charlie about the illusion. Unexpectedly, she was caught red-handed by Ali, who had just come back. The next second, she and the boy were thrown back to the real world and tightly tied up. Luckily, Maria appeared just in time to free them. She told them all the information she had gotten from the white wizard earlier, telling them to find the magic wand immediately while she held Ali off. The two quickly found the hidden magic wand at Ali's residence, but Maria's disguise was exposed. She was once again controlled by Ali. Charlie started a surprise attack and successfully destroyed the time-stopping whistle. Then Sophia and Charlie used the magic wand to wake up the controlled Maria. The three joined forces to fight against Ali, but Ali transformed the three into ice and snow giants in the illusion. He then controlled Ivan and the Eagle Warrior to fight against them. The three were no match for Ivan and the others at all. In the chaos, the magic wand was also split in two. Just as Sophia was about to be killed by Ivan, the boy Charlie had a sudden idea. He voluntarily let go of the wand, got into the illusion world, and told Ivan the truth. He then guided Ivan to touch the magic wand and escape the illusion world together. Now the tide had turned. Sophia and the other three were fighting against Ali alone. Just as they thought they had the upper hand, Ali actually controlled all the guards of Bellaro. The situation reversed once again. The Eagle Warrior lifted an anvil and smashed the boy Charlie to death on the spot. Seeing her beloved die a tragic death in front of her, Sophia completely lost control. She threw all the potions in her bag. The countless mixed effects threw the guards into chaos. Her sister Maria took the opportunity to rush to Ali's side. She then stabbed Ali's own tail into his body, dragging him into an endless illusion. Ali's powers completely went out of control. Everyone trapped in the illusion surrounded them at this point. Ivan was unluckily controlled by them, and could only shout loudly for the two sisters to destroy the artifact crown quickly. He believed that the two had also inherited his bloodline, so they should be able to use the bloodline magic sword as well. The two sisters held the magic sword together and actually awakened its magic power. The artifact crown was shattered on the spot. Everyone woke up from the illusion. Bellaro went back to its former peace and tranquility. Sophia looked at Charlie lying on the ground, overwhelmed with grief. At this point, the witch walked over slowly. She still had Nightingale's healing whistle in her hand. As the whistle sounded, the boy soon came back to life. Even King Ivan, who had been dissolved by the sun's holy light, was resurrected as well. It was truly a happy ending for everyone. The white wizard looked at Ali on the ground and decided to personally wipe out the monster he had created. He took Ali and disappeared in front of everyone. But in a corner unnoticed by everyone, a time-space tunnel suddenly opened. It was actually the museum curator and the others. No one knew what kind of crisis they would bring. The film ends here. The first season of the Russian drama The Last Warrior was released in September 2024. The drama inherits the background of the movie The Last Warrior, so it has a relatively cheerful tone. Many of its humorous remarks and bold imaginations are sure to bring a smile to your face. If you like fantasy adventure works, it's highly recommended to watch the original. If you like my channel, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.